Hi everybody, it's Dr. Riley here with Writing for a Mass Audience. I'm going to be going over some instructions today on how to put together your Google Map. I found this nifty little thing that will record my voice and screen at the same time, so I can click through stuff and you can follow along, watch it like a video, and pause and go back and listen to the things I say. So we're going to be making this on mymaps.google.com. Now you want to make sure off the bat that you're on mymaps.google.com. This is the light version of their map maker and the one that they're going to continue to support. If you just search for how to make a map on Google, you may end up finding Google Map Maker, which is actually a different thing than My Maps. Google Map Maker is something that has been around for a while, but they're actually discontinuing at the end of this calendar year. It was really nice, but it was kind of complicated to use. You could do stuff like drawing shapes, mapping distances, doing estimations and things. It was really nice, but again, they're discontinuing it, so all your work will be gone at the end of the calendar year. So just make sure you're not using Google Map Maker, that you're using My Maps. So symbolically, I will get rid of it. I'm going to be using, for example, universities in the state college system in the state of Florida. So I've got my data pulled up here. I'm using Wikipedia, the lovely and reliable source, because it's all fact-checked here on the side. I'm going to be using this to make my map into reference, so I'm going to probably want that in a tab next to My Maps. And also, I've got my blog pulled up on Blogger. This is where I'll end up putting the code to embed the map when everything is said and done. This is the sort of end result. I want to just have this up on a tab so that I don't have to go searching for it later. So that's kind of what you'll want to start with. Funny enough, My Maps actually started as MapMaker Lite. Just as a really simple, easy way to make a map, and this is what I'm going to ask you all to use for this assignment. So you want to start off by saying create a new map. It'll take a little second to load, and you're met with a really nice interface once it loads. On the left-hand side here, you have your untitled map, you have your description, you have your layers. This is sort of your tool area. Here's different things you can do. Here's your search bar, and here is the Great United States and also some other countries. So to start off with, we're going to change the name of our map. We're going to click on Untitled Map in the top left corner, and it's going to bring up this. We're going to change it to say something like, let's say, colleges in the state university system, Florida. So this will be the title of my map. In the description, I'll say, this is a map covering, I had some issues typing sometimes, covering the colleges and universities in the state of Florida, broken down by mascot, other information. That'll all make sense in a second, but for yours, you're going to make sure that you're changing the map title and changing the description to be what you want it to be, something that'll be descriptive for the average reader. Click Save when you're ready, and it'll change it up here in the top left corner. You want to go back to the university system in Florida. Now notice here we have something that's called Untitled Layer. This import thing, don't just ignore it. You're not really going to use that. Now your layers are what you use to include at least 2 layers. We'll use a pretty fun example here. So let's just start off by searching and finding something. So if we're doing colleges, we'll start off with, we all know and love, Florida Gulf Coast University. Notice that when I start to type it in, it auto-populates. These are things that Google already recognizes as places and locations in pins. Now the advantage of being able to type this in and being able to get this stuff back already is that if I click this, for example, it'll find it on the map and it'll give me all the information it already has about this place. So I don't have to go typing in the address or the website or the phone number or any of that. It's got this nice little light green pen here that indicates that it's something it already knows exists and has information on. But it doesn't automatically add it to our map. We have to go in and click Add to Map. That'll change that from light green to red. And then if you notice over here in our untitled layer, it's actually added Florida Gulf Coast University, which is nice. Now we don't have to go put on all that stuff. If we click this again, we still get all this information here. Florida, let's change this layer to birds. So represented by an eagle, so we will be under birds. Now, when we go back to this, and just so you know, if you need to go back to it at any point, you can just click it over here in the Maker. It'll pull up this. We want to have a description here of our own merit. So let's say if I was doing an education blog, I would want to include why I have included Florida Gulf Coast University. So I'm going to click the little pencil symbol, and that'll bring up this box. And here's where I can type that FGCU is a university in Southwest Florida. Let's see. We can pull up some other data here off of our Wikipedia page. So let's go with our endowment information. Let's say we have an endowment of $57.1 million. Go back to the map. The current. You'll notice in the instructions for the assignment, if you haven't read it already, I'm asking you for somewhere in the neighborhood of like 75 to 100 words. That'll be fine. It just needs to be a description of why this is important for your beat, why it's something that matters, why it's something people should care about or click on. And so that's going to be the basic information there. If you click off of it, it'll save it and auto-populate that when you click on it. So if you click Save, when you're done with everything, you'll notice these words stay here. So it doesn't matter where I go on the map, image or video. When you click that, you're going to get a box that pops up that's connected to Google Image Search, and will give you available pictures you want to use. Now I'm going to ask you that for your assignment, where you're going to be populating the map with 10 different points that involve your beat, that you include an image for each of them. Now, I'm not saying you have to take pictures, you just have to find pictures, which this is the internet. That's really useful. So let's just type in FGCU. Let's do a search. Look at all of these wonderful available pictures. There's our seal. I'm going to use this. I'm going to hit select. And now, if we click Save, remember you're always going to want to click Save after this. Anywhere we click on the map, if we click back to this point, we get our picture that shows up with our name, now with our description is still there, and with all of the details from Google Maps. To change all this is this kind of thing here. And notice if you highlight your mouse cursor over on this left-hand side over Florida Gulf Coast University, this symbol shows up. I'm often wondering why this symbol is the edit and change icon symbol. It looks like a diamond that's crying and has a pencil stuck in it. I have no idea why, but if you click that, it lets you change the icon that shows up on the map. I'm going to click More Icons, and you have tons and tons of icons to scroll through. One of the number one things, it seems silly, but one of the number one things that you can do to change how your map is perceived, or to make it look a little bit deeper, is to change the icons involved. Now, you can either add a URL, and if I had the URL to, for example, the mascot, the symbol of the swooping eagle head from FGCU, I might want to drop that here, but for now, I'm just going to pick something to use. Let's see, what looks good like a bird, if we're going to go with a bird. For a good bird symbol here. Well, I'm not seeing much in the way of birds. There's a mouse. Definitely not the FGCU mouse. Oh, there we go. This is close enough. This is chicken, so I'll click that. And then click OK. And now, if you'll notice, the little symbol has been changed to the color of a chicken, or a yellow. Indication on the map remains that chicken. If I click it, it still pops up with Florida Gulf Coast University, FGCU. The picture's there, our description is there, our details are there. Wonderful. Now, let's add another point on the map. Actually, let's add a layer. So over here on the side, it says Add Layer. Let's go ahead and click that. When we do that, we're going to get the same thing we had before. It'll say Untitled Layer, it'll say Import, which we're not going to use at all. But let's click Untitled Layer, and let's change this to Reptiles. Let's click Save. So this will be our layer for schools that are represented by reptiles. So we can now, let's go to University of Florida. When we click it off of the search bar, it brings us to the automatic thing that's done by Google Maps. Already got the address, the website, the phone number, all that stuff built in. Perfect. So let's click Add to Map. And notice it adds it over to reptiles. Now, let's say accidentally we wanted this to be in birds. All we would have to do is hover our mouse over the University of Florida bit, click and hold it, and pull it up here, and it would drop it off in birds. Of course, though, an alligator is not a bird, so we'll need to click and hold it and bring it back down here to reptiles. So let's do the same thing we did before. Let's start off by clicking the Edit button. Let's change this to say that UF is a large school in Gainesville, Florida. Its current endowment is, let's go and check their data. Current endowment is 1.4 billion. And then let's go back here. Again, I'm looking for about 75 words in your descriptions. This is just so that you don't have to watch me painfully type out a bunch of stuff in the description. So after we type that stuff out, we're going to click Save. We're going to go to the images. We're going to type in UF, and we're going to click Search. So now that'll show up. We want to click Save again to make sure that our work is saved. We want to click X to get rid of this, but notice our little dot is still that red default. We're going to click the strange symbol here. Tiles, I think I saw something. That kind of looks like an alligator maybe that's standing up, so we're going to click that. So now we've got two different layers to the map. So let me show you what layering does and why layering is important. So you're going to be showing 10 different things on your map. 10 different points of interest. And most of you are going to be dealing with things that are in Southwest Florida. They're in Naples, Cape Coral, it's Fort Myers, stuff like that. It can be kind of crowded. So when you get enough things on the map, you're going to want to be able to turn things on and off. So here, notice down here, our chicken that represents the Fort Myers, or it represents Florida Gulf Coast. Here we've got what I think is maybe an alligator representing University of Florida. Now watch what happens to the chicken down here, our bird, when I click off of the bird layer, when I uncheck it. Notice that you don't see it on the map any longer. It's gone. When I click birds again, it reappears. When I click off of reptiles, that disappears. We only see this. I'm going to ask for this assignment that you use at least 2 layers to indicate 2 different types of thing. However, feel free to use more if you want to. So, for example, if you were going to be doing if your map would include restaurants, or if you're doing maybe arts and entertainment. Maybe for restaurants, for example, you might want to say something like breakfast restaurants, dinner restaurants, dessert restaurants, coffee places. For arts and entertainment, it may be something like concert venues, movie theaters, theater halls, something like that. If you're doing maybe a blog about a campaign, I know a couple of you are doing political campaigns, it may be something like offices in the state of Florida for the Democratic headquarters, Republican headquarters, stations for campaign stops, for example. If you're doing sports, I think I've got somebody working on football. You may want to do the different high schools, or maybe who is all playing each other, high schools that are playing each other if you're going to go from the perspective of one school. What you want to do when you get everything said and done, when everything is how you want it to be, over here you've got this share button. You want to click that. Actually, no, you don't want to do that. All right, I'm gonna work through the. Actually, I think it'd probably be a better idea if I work through the embedding thing in the next steps to build the map.